Hello and welcome everyone to the Week in 7 Questions. Now, like all MEPs, you're going to have to work from home for a while. How is the digital aspect of that treating you?
Well, the first thing I noticed was the immense emptiness in the European Parliament. Starting in the middle of a strict lockdown doesn't really feel like a start. But I also noticed how well European Parliament is digitally organized. So all in all, I really had a smooth start.
Agnieszka, this week started with March 8th, International Women's Day. So, as Vice President of EPP Women, is this a time to celebrate or for all of us to work harder for women's rights?
Well, there is not much to celebrate at the moment, especially in Poland. Equal rights, equal salaries, the right to decide about ourselves. It's still a goal and a challenge in many countries, and I believe it's a goal not only for women, but also for men.
Now that public debt in Europe has skyrocketed, so after the pandemic, are we going towards a new phase of budget restrictions and austerity again?
Well, I think such a move would be absolutely disastrous for the EU. Thankfully, it seems that at least some of the lessons of the financial crisis have been learned. EU fiscal rules will probably stay suspended until the end of 2022 at the earliest. But really, what's needed in the long term is a full-scale review of EU fiscal rules and how we manage European Monetary Union.
Are EU institutions in Brussels doing enough to combat disinfo from the Kremlin?
Not at all. We have actually seen Mogherini or Borrell being basically disastrous on Russia, not doing almost anything. We have seen other EU commissioners denying the Russian involvement or denying the fact that Russia should be called out for what it does. So I'm afraid there's very little movement there despite Russian hostile aggression.
Do the eurozones fiscal rules need to be replaced by a new governance mechanism in the future?
So I'm addressing that question as Minister for Finance for Ireland rather than President of the Eurogroup. And as the Irish Finance Minister, I do believe we do need to assess the future of the fiscal rules. But I would see the area of change be more around how we can integrate our fiscal rules into investing for a lower carbon and then nil carbon future, as opposed to spending a lot of time focusing in on governance issues.
At long last, we have a schedule for the conference on the future of Europe. Reasons to be optimistic?
Oh, yes, I think so. Let's not make the mistake that is often done in the Brussels bubble, that this becomes only about institutional matters. It will be really interesting to see how we make sure that the voice of the citizens is also heard very loudly in this conference. And I'm looking at that with a lot of interest.
Now let's make it a bit more relatable to our viewers. What are some of the big changes we can expect to see as a result of AI in the coming decade?
Yeah, this is a hard question because the point is that as we get better with the artificial intelligence, it's becoming just pervasive. And so a lot of the changes are the ones you don't see. I mean, we all know, I hope you know that if you go to China, you don't use money anymore. You just walk in a store, take things, walk away. And those kinds of stores have started here. So the big questions for AI now aren't so much like, oh, where's my giant robot? But rather, how is this altering how we feel? How is it altering our society?